Imagine if AOC got to write history books and they said, why do people sneak into America? Oh, climate change.
Climate change is different because we have an expiration date.
20 years from now. Climate change was so bad that people were walking from Guatemala to get plane tickets to fly to Michigan.
We've got 12 years to turn it around.
Yeah.
12 years.
For real? Are you sure? Are you sure that happened? Maybe there's other variables? What do you think?
My concern is that we are going to be the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Hey guys, maybe some of the stops along the way, they only speak Chinese and they have Chinese signs. There's like a concerted effort to get people in from China. Hey, something going on? No, just climate change.
We are going to debate and debate and debate and debate. And then when we actually finally pass something, it is a wimpy carbon tax and our kids are doomed.
Oh, so simple. So nice to be able to just...
Bill Maher and Joe Rogan have teamed up to relentlessly roast AOC, and the result is equal parts savage and hilarious. Remember when commentators exposed her for allegedly embellishing parts of her backstory? That revelation sparked a firestorm, and Maher and Rogan turned up with rhetorical flamethrowers. Ever since, they've been on a tear, dropping truth bombs and savage one-liners without an ounce of mercy. Their takedowns are raw, relentless, and wildly entertaining. So hit subscribe and strap in. This chaos is just getting started.
Did you hear what AOC said?
He wanted to pick a fight with me, little old me. He's gonna lose that.
It's amazing.
Maybe don't send our country into war because you're in some type of mood.
It is straight out of South Park.
Gosh.
It's straight out of South Park.
Congress was supposed to have a classified briefing today, and they canceled it last minute.
Like what?
Yeah, I know.
It's giving scrambling, it's giving disorganized, it's giving they are having problems behind the scenes.
Do you know something I don't know?
Please understand that this is Trump's war. This is a Republican war. Don't let them...
Like, what do you say?
I'm not exactly sure what set it off, but it's downright hilarious how Joe Rogan doesn't even pretend to take AOC seriously anymore. The days when he praised her as the bold, fresh face among flashy Democrats are long gone. He once admired her fiery speeches and even called her brave for storming into Congress so young. Now that praise has vanished, replaced by cutting mockery that leaves a mark. And Rogan's not pulling any punches this time.
Did you see the video of when she found out she won?
It's amazing. Play it.
I'm gonna grab her. She's right here. I can't let you go.
It's like one of the realest moments. And look, people are angry. 28-year-olds, what does she know? What she doesn't know, she'll learn. Maybe she knows a lot. I like the fact she wasn't supposed to win. I like the fact that the guy who was an incumbent was a 10-term incumbent.
Yeah.
And that he spent 10-1 versus on her. How much money she spent? 10-1.
And grassroots got her elected, man, and that can happen.
Dude, she's a kid.
Yeah, that's...
And she's pretty. She's a pretty, young 28-year-old.
Yes, that was Rogan. Once genuinely captivated by AOC's rise to Congress, singing her praises and championing the promise he thought she carried. And he wasn't alone. Millions were swept up in her story. But when the shine faded, when her carefully crafted image began to crack, and her rehearsed lines lost their spark, Rogan's admiration flipped on a dime. Compliments turned into cold, cutting analysis. Awe turned to mockery. Now he doesn't see a fearless leader, he sees a fraud draped in activism, a politician fluent in buzzwords but allergic to real scrutiny. And he's not holding back. On his podcast and beyond, his jabs are sharper, funnier, and absolutely ruthless.
Like AOC was on TV the other day doing an interview.
One of the biggest issues that we have when it comes to immigration is the fact that we have an undocumented population.
She was calling them undocumented people, and the way to do it is to give them a path to citizenship.
You can fix that by trying to build a wall, or you can fix that by trying to document people and create a path to citizenship.
Well, how about you know who the they are? Because if you're a person from another country, say if you're in Europe, you want to come to America and become an American citizen, this is like a long, lengthy process every year, and you have to prove that you have a skill. There's a reason why you should be here, legally.
One of the reasons that our public systems experience wait is because people don't have a documented and reliable path to work and sustain themselves.
But if you want to do it illegally, they'll give you money, they'll give you a cell phone.
Just like all of our ancestors did, the answer should really be we should make it easier to be legal, documented, and a citizen of the United States of America.
There's people in Mexico gone back 4 times that month. So every time he crosses over, he gets $2,000. He made $8,000 in a month from the federal government.
Here's a mashup of AOC saying the most outrageous, illogical things. And honestly, it's not even surprising anymore. Remember her infamous claim that we could solve climate change in just 12 years? As if global environmental shifts operate on a neat congressional calendar? That's peak AOC. She genuinely believes climate change is the main driver of mass migration, casually brushing aside economic collapse, political chaos, and violent regimes as if they're just footnotes. Sure, when she first burst onto the scene, young, wide-eyed, idealistic, you might have given her a pass. But 5 years in, still spouting the same simplistic lines? That's not idealism anymore. It's just ignorance. There's no excuse for tossing out half-baked hot takes on issues this complicated. If anything, it shows a shocking refusal to evolve and ask herself, wait, does this actually make sense? Instead, she doubles down, betting on drama and emotion to distract from the missing facts. Spoiler, it doesn't work.
Everyday Americans still have the power to organize and fight for their communities, and they can have more say in this country than the richest man in the world.
Yeah, the district now is going to lose 25,000 jobs. Like this up there.
Well, one of those things is, A, we were subsidizing those jobs. So for the city was paying for those jobs. So frankly, if we were willing to give Amazon to give away $3 billion for this deal, we could invest those $3 billion in our district ourselves if we wanted to. We could hire out more teachers. We can fix our subways. We can put a lot of people to work for that money if we wanted to. There was no guarantee that those jobs were for the New Yorkers that were here. We were looking at a deal that was not primarily putting the community first.
That's her signature move. Sound tough until actual substance enters the room. Take her out of her Trump-bashing comfort zone and ask her to speak on real policy and she crumbles like clockwork. She doesn't thrive in debate, she thrives in echo chambers. The moment she's pressed, the confidence fades, the deflections start, and any hint of expertise dissolves into empty generalities. She's perfected the role of the performative politician. High drama, low depth. And that's exactly the problem. When style keeps beating out substance, and the media runs constant interference, we're left with a politician who dazzles in sound bites, but collapses under real scrutiny. It's no surprise Maher jumped in too. AOC's act is finally wearing thin.
Giant robotic tripods could be vaporizing New Jersey. Democrats would point out how the death lasers were disproportionately affecting low-income communities and people of color, and AOC would tweet, "Stop demonizing the Martian X community."
Yep, it's funny, but also painfully accurate. We could have literal Martians landing in our neighborhoods causing chaos, and Democrats would probably jump on TV defending them in the name of compassion. Honestly, that's not far from reality. The fallout from unchecked illegal immigration is staggering. Fentanyl flooding communities, prostitution and trafficking rings exploding, and law enforcement drowning in crisis after crisis. And 1 in 5 families are suffering, neighborhoods are unraveling, and yet the loudest voices defending the mess are the same Democrats leading this fantasy parade. And right at the front is AOC, spinning her usual fairy tales while everyday Americans deal with the wreckage. So, when Bill Maher joked about aliens tearing through LA while Democrats argue for their rights on CNN, he wasn't exaggerating. At this point, it's not about solving anything, it's pure political theater. We're just ideology trumps reality and common sense gets tossed aside. And in the next clip we see it play out when AOC completely botches a major bill and gets fact-checked hard by Mike Lawler.
Well, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez caught that interview, or at least saw it online, and she wrote, "It's not normal. Lawler voted to make the tax breaks on billionaires permanent while making the no tax on tips, just for those making less than $25K, expire in just 3 years. He's also kicking tipped employees off Medicaid, ACA, that's Obamacare, and clawing back their SNAP." So is she wrong about this bill?
Yes, she's entirely wrong. Look, the standard deduction, for instance, which was doubled under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, is made permanent. This is a huge tax cut for middle class and lower income families all across this country. Obviously, within this bill, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no a senior deduction, a child tax credit expansion. This is targeted towards the middle class and working class and lower income Americans all across this country.
Yep, it's funny, but also painfully accurate. We could have literal Martians landing in our neighborhoods causing chaos, and Democrats would probably jump on TV defending them in the name of compassion. Honestly, that's not far from reality. The fallout from unchecked illegal immigration is staggering. Fentanyl flooding communities, prostitution and trafficking rings exploding, and law enforcement drowning in crisis after crisis. And 1 in 5 families are suffering, neighborhoods are unraveling, and yet the loudest voices defending the mess are the same Democrats leading this fantasy parade. And right at the front is AOC, spinning her usual fairy tales while everyday Americans deal with the wreckage. So, when Bill Maher joked about aliens tearing through LA while Democrats argue for their rights on CNN, he wasn't exaggerating. At this point, it's not about solving anything, it's pure political theater. Ideology trumps reality and common sense gets tossed aside. And in the next clip we see it play out when AOC completely botches a major bill and gets fact-checked hard by Mike Lawler.
It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
I've said it time and time again. The Democrats desperately need to start learning from their mistakes, especially after last year's disasters. Kamala Harris brought in the crowds, the flashing cameras, and all the celebrity endorsements from influencers more obsessed with TikTok than actual policy. And where did it get them? A brutal, embarrassing loss at the polls. They had over $1.5 billion, yes billion, in campaign funds and still managed to fumble it. Why? Because Kamala Harris, their so-called leader, isn't a leader at all. She's a PR product wrapped in identity politics, missing the grit, vision, and competence needed to run a real campaign. Worst of all, they just keep doubling down. Instead of reassessing what went wrong, the DNC acts like none of it happened, still clinging to optics and feel-good storylines instead of delivering tangible results. If they don't snap out of it soon, 2028 is going to be an excruciating rerun.
Holy sh... He said what?
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
It's the category of crimes that you're then charged
You have charges.
A long 100
You
list
have
of
charges.
Want me
Please
to name the exact statute under RICO?
Yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, there's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my
lawyers
time.
that
I
went to
reclaim
law
my
school.
time. I
I'll
reclaim
leave it
my
up
time.
to you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute.
reclaim my.
This one's almost too funny to believe. In peak performative mode, AOC tried to deliver a dramatic gotcha moment on Tony Bobulinski by asking if he had personally witnessed Joe Biden commit a crime. Without flinching, Bobulinski calmly answered yes. Not satisfied, AOC pressed further, demanding he name the crime, and he did, citing corruption and RICO violations. That's when it got downright embarrassing. AOC seemed genuinely unaware that both corruption and racketeering are actual crimes under federal law. Bobulinski gave her exactly what she asked for, but she either didn't know enough or lacked the intellectual honesty to keep up. And that's the real issue. She set out to discredit a key witness but instead showcased her own ignorance, live and unfiltered. Not exactly the brilliant mind her supporters love to brag about.
The recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
AOC comes off as far too manufactured to be seriously considered a presidential contender. Too woke for the average voter, not sharp enough to handle global complexities, and far too loud for a role that demands poise, intellect, and real diplomacy. Her obsession with attention, sound bites, and going viral might play well on social media, but it crumbles under the weight of actual leadership. That said, she's not beyond redemption. She's still young, and with genuine humility, introspection, and a willingness to learn instead of lecture, she could evolve into someone more grounded and capable. But let's be real, right now, she has no business even whispering about the presidency. What she really needs is time, maturity, and a serious reality check. Until then, her focus should be on substance over spectacle, on actually growing into the kind of leader she claims to be. As it stands, AOC is all performance and no policy. Loud, unrefined, and completely out of her depth. Her presidential dreams aren't laughable because of her age, but because of her refusal to grow. If she's serious about leading someday, it's time to drop the act and do the work. The clock's ticking. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.